back to you. I hope you find you tickety-boo. This is another production, a short production from the Ministry of Food at Grove College, and we're going to talk about eggs. So a mini series on eggs. We're going to do poached eggs, fried eggs and scrambled eggs. So by the end of this you should have an idea how to do them, because my students out there watching this, I'll be setting you some tasks on eggs over the next couple of weeks. So without further ado, I'm going to show you first poached eggs. Okay, so in your box this week you had 4 eggs. Eggs are really versatile. They're quick and they're nutritious, and you can serve them with all sorts of things. So poached eggs first, what we're going to need? Well, you're going to need some eggs. One thing about eggs, please, if you can, please buy free range eggs. I don't use any others in school, because if you ever see what happens to cage hens, you won't want to eat them. Okay, so we've got free range eggs here. I've got a slotted spoon, you can use a spatula. I've got a little dish, any little dish will do. That's going to help us because we're going to crack our eggs into it before we put them into the water, and that means that if you break it in there, you can save that egg for later and just actually put another one in there. I've got a plate to put it on at the end, which I'm going to show you. And you don't have to have this, but it does help. If you've got any white wine vinegar or cider vinegar, it helps set the white of the eggs. If you haven't got it, just don't use it, but I'm going to put a glug in there. A glug is a bit more of a splash, by the way. There we are, it's about 2-3 tablespoons in there. And water, you want your water up to just a gentle simmer, so that's just like gentle bubbles coming to the top, not a rolling ball where you get the big bubbles. So get an egg, your dish, crack it in there if you can without breaking it, there we are. Oh, the other thing, with poached eggs, the fresher the egg, the better. The white sets better. If you've got a really old egg, they're better for actually doing hard boiled, so they'll peel easier, but you need fresh eggs for this. And all I'm going to do now is get this, going to stir the water to get a little bit of whirlpool there, because that's going to help the white swirl around on the top. And very gently, I'm just going to tip that egg into there like that. And for a soft egg, 3 minutes. So I'll see you in 3 minutes.
A few minutes later.
So I'm back, 3 minutes is up. Going to get the egg out. If you want to make it look like the chefs give it and make it professional, I'm going to show you how to do that, but I would just get it out, drain it off with a slotted spoon and serve it up on toast or whatever you're going to do, eggs benedict or whatever you do. I'm just trimming some of that off. There's like a bit of a tail in there of some of the white, and you see I've just got a spoon and I've just trimmed that off. I'd probably do that all the time. And what I'm going to do now is I've got my cloth there, I've drained the water off. I'm going to put it on there. Now this is the bit, if you want to make it look actually perfect, can you see that there's a little bit of white there that we don't need? If you want to, you can just trim that bit off. Move it to the side. And you've got that like perfect looking poached egg. If you went into the Ritz or the Hilton, they would give you. I'm going to put it on the plate and we'll cut it open and see actually what it looks like, shall we? Okay, so everyone, there it is on the plate. Let's have a look inside. Look at that. See that? That is your perfect poached egg. If you wanted to get it a bit harder, just cook it a little bit longer. Here's an interesting point as well. If you're doing this for a lot of people, what you can actually do, when you get it to the stage you want to, if you drop it into a bowl of iced water, it will stop it cooking, and then you can just reheat them again before you serve them. So you can get like 8 or 9 done, and then just pop them back one at a time to warm up. That's just if you want to go a bit fancy and you're cooking for a dinner party or friends coming around or something. Anyway, okay, that's the poached eggs done. Next one, in a few mo's, let's have a look at a fried egg. Welcome back. Miniature of food, okay. Egg series number 2, fried eggs. So what do we need? Well, we're going to need some free range eggs. You've got those coming your way. Use a little dish like that, okay. You'll need a spatula. You'll need some oil. I like I don't tend to use corn oil, I prefer rapeseed oil because apparently it's got higher flash point, which means it doesn't break down as quickly as other oils. It's meant to be healthier for you, so I'm using rapeseed oil. And you will need a frying pan. So first thing I'm going to do is crack the egg into my little ramekin. I like doing this because it's really annoying. If you've got 3 perfect eggs you're frying in there and then you drop another one in and it breaks, it tends to mix up with all the other ones. So yeah, unless you're really careful, I would use one of these. So in it goes, crack it gently, It's nice and whole, that one. So eggs shells to the side. Once again, when you're frying, you must get your oil. My students, what are you going to say? Yes, hot. So in with the oil. I'll put a good glug of oil in there. If you can see that there, we need to let that get hot. Okay, so I'm going to wait a couple of minutes, let it get hot, see you then.
A few moments later.
Okay, so the oil's been cooking a couple of minutes. You want it hot, but you don't want it so hot that when you put your egg in it spits everywhere. So I'm hoping that's going to be about right. So here we go, there we are. So just a nice gentle sizzle. Just going to turn it down a little bit. There we are. And don't forget, I say to my students, if the pan's spitting, don't look at it and pan, just move it off the heat a little bit. There we are. So you can see the bottom's doing. Now I'm doing the Delia way of doing it, and I like Delia. I tend to follow her things, but we need to cook the top. And the way I know she does it was if you get a spoon, if you just tip the pan slightly to the side, I hope you can see that, get some of that hot oil and just scoop it on the top there like that. Like that, and that's cooking the top nicely there. Can you see that? So just a spoon, you just tilt the pan and onto the yolk, and that should be cooking your top for you. Oh, I can see it's going slightly opaque now. That is doing nicely. Now that, for me, I like my eggs quite runny. So that is going to be done in a second. Look, can you see that? There's another way of doing the top where you don't have to actually, you can use a little bit less oil, which some chefs use, is to actually just put a lid over it and the top should cook. If you turn it really low, put a lid on, you can cook the top like I use Delia method. Good old Delia, you can't go wrong. So there we are. You want to get as much oil off as possible, so get your spatula. Yeah, just gently ease it under the egg. Okay, right underneath it. And then what you can do then is drain, look, tip the egg, so the fat's draining off back into the pan, onto your plate. There we are. And there we are, your fried egg. So easy to do, so versatile. We do a lot of fried eggs at school with breakfast. We also do eggs ron cheros, which has a fried egg on the top, and we also do corned beef hash, which I like to serve with a fried egg. So I would like my students, if you're all out there watching, I hope you are going to be doing some fried eggs in the next couple of weeks, because when you come back, I want you top notch with your eggs, okay? Thank you. Okay, so we're going to do the third bit in our egg series now, which is scrambled egg. Okay, so I'm going to teach you to make some really nice scrambled egg. Well, let's have a look at what equipment we need and what ingredients we need. So you'll need some milk or cream. If you've got some cream left over, that's really nice as well. Some free range eggs. Butter or margarine. I prefer butter. I've only got margarine here. Okay, so I'll have to use that today. You will need something to whisk it up with. I've got one of those, which is a mini whisk my students use. If you haven't got one at home, that's just as good, just use a fork. You will need a spoon to stir it. You'll be stirring it a lot, that's very important. And you will need a saucepan to cook it in. I prefer, if you've got a heavier bottom saucepan, non-stick one, I prefer that to do scrambled egg in rather than a thin one, because it tends to catch on the bottom. And the last thing is you'll need a bowl, obviously, to whisk your eggs in. So I'm going to crack 3 eggs into this bowl. You could do it with 2. You won't get my scrambled egg with 1, so 2 minimum, but 3 is a nice number for scrambled egg. That will do 2 of you. So in we go. 1, 2, 3. 3 eggs. Splash of milk. Yeah. A little bit of milk, splash of milk, and a little bit of salt. Thank you, Rob. In it goes, a pinch of salt. Give it a good whisk. A little pinch of pepper in there. I'm going to like a bit of pepper in mine, black pepper. And now you're going to cook this, okay, in butter. So you want a dessert spoon butter, good knob of butter in there, and I'm going to let that melt now. So you see you in 2 minutes.
2 very boring minutes later.
Okay, so the butter's melted. It's sizzling. All I got to do now is knock the pan over and turn the stove off. I think we're still going. So in with our egg mix, give it a quick whisk. In it goes, get it all out of there. And what you've got to do now is keep stirring, because if you think what's happening here, the egg is cooking from the bottom, and what you've got to do is you've got to scrape the cooked egg from the bottom and let the raw egg go down to the bottom. So just keep stirring it round. So what's happening here, I can see it, chunks of egg are being scraped from the bottom, and I'm going to keep stirring it. If you want really nice scrambled egg, you've got to keep stirring it. Overcooked scrambled egg goes actually quite rubbery. Another little tip, what you can do, stop cooking before the egg is done, just done, and take it off the heat. Keep stirring, because there's enough heat, there'll be enough heat in that pan to finish your egg off without it becoming rubbery. You can always put it back on again if it hasn't quite cooked to your liking, but I'm going to get it nearly there, and then I'm going to take it off the heat and just keep stirring for a little bit longer. It's coming there, but it's going to need another minute or two. So I will see you then.
A few minutes later.
So if you look at that, it's still slightly runny. I'm not going to cook it on the heat anymore. I'm just going to take it off because there's plenty of heat in that pan. I'm just going to stir that round for a minute. And look, it's setting nicely now. Keep stirring it. And that is done. So I'm going to put that onto my toast now. Look at that. If you really wanted to treat yourself, and there's probably some people out there who wouldn't like it at all, but a nice bit of smoked salmon with that would be nice. I did have that on New Year's Day in the morning. There we are, look at that. There we are. Scrambled egg. Voila. Okay, so there we go. Scrambled egg, fried egg, poached egg. I'll do a hard-boiled egg another day, but I think they're the three I want you to concentrate on in the next couple of weeks. Try and work on those and get them really good. Some of you I know can make scrambled egg in a microwave, and that's fine, but try it this way as well and see which you prefer. Okay, so before I go, I've got to tell you a joke. Okay, what do you call the hen that lays the square egg? The ouch bird. Okay, I had to tell you that. It's been there for years and years, decades. Okay, so stay safe. Okay, goodbye from me at the Ministry of Food. See you soon.